Hello, guys. What's up, everybody? It is Gina Efoe, the one and only African superstar. I'm back at it again. Another live stream. Yes, you're going to see me a little bit more often now. Yes, for a couple reasons. Number one, the channel is remonetized. Number two, I'm in the US, and um, whenever I'm abroad, I'm just so contemplative of a lot of things because of what I see, what I hear, what I experience. And, I would say that's a positive. The fact that I am thinking more than when I'm in Ghana. When I'm in Ghana, lifestyle is much more relaxed and I'm not confronted with some of the situations that I deal with here. Today's topic, it's an unpopular opinion, and it is all relationships are temporary. The motivation for this video is somebody was asking me 2 days ago about Mr. Fifi and Joseph Mayer and, my ex-husband, and asking me if I miss them, if I regret, the way things went down and all of that and all of that. Were they the ones that got away, and all this kind of thing. And so that's why I want to share this pro tip. This is a pro tip that I use that helps me cope with life. Unfortunately, you will find out that all relationships are temporary. You will find out that people come in seasons. You will lose loved ones. You will lose family members to death or conflicts or disagreements and all of this stuff. And the reality is nobody is going to run the whole duration of your lifetime with you. You're fortunate if you get to enjoy long-term relationships or people are in your life for decades or years or whatnot. If you're able to retain friendships, from, say, for instance, childhood or university into adulthood and the different, stages of life. But the reality is that all relationships are temporary. I don't spend a lot of time, particularly in the past. I'm not a person who spends a lot of energy in the past because, in my opinion, it's very futile. You cannot address the past. All you can do is maybe lament situations or the way you handle things or information that you didn't have. Like, for instance, when I think about enterprising in Ghana, I had no idea about enterprising in Ghana at a time that it would have been very beneficial for me. I can't live in the space where I focus on that, And when it comes to relationships, you might just have to accept that for one reason or another, those things were not meant to be. When I do reflect, big shout outs, Queen Tia. I see the first in the building. Shout out to the African superstar family, guys. If you're here, do the necessary. Be on code. Greet me in the chat. Make sure you like the stream. Today's topic is all relationships are temporary. When I do take time and reflect, for instance, romantic prospects, and I think about them, I think that those situations would have played out exactly the same if I was to duplicate those situations, because where I'm going in my life would have ultimately led for those things to happen. For some people, it's like differences of lifestyle, differences of future aspirations. That's something that pioneers and leaders and, other diasporians are going to encounter. Those of us that are going against the grain, those of us that have interests that takes us to the continent, or, unconventional ideologies on life, that will be a difficulty that we experience because what we want or our interests or whatever is vastly different than a lot of other people. Big shout outs, S.A. Smith. I see you guys. Shout outs to my moderators, everybody with the wrench in the building. The pro tip is understanding and appreciating the fact that all relationships are temporary. That means when you have a relationship that's valuable, when you have a friendship that's valuable, when you have a great, family dynamic or relationship with your siblings or whatever, to cherish and revel in that, because that those situations are temporary. Okay. And a lot of times we don't know the amount of time we're going to be able to enjoy those relationships we have with people. Obviously, we know if people are older than us, there's a high probability that their lifetime will come to an end before ours, if it's natural pretenses. Obviously, your parents are not going to live forever. Your grandparents are not going to live forever. Big shout outs, Black Messiah with the first super chat on the channel in 6 good months. Hello. Big shout outs. Thank you so much. I'm glad I'm monetized again. Yes. I'm glad it is. I have still come and seen you guys over the months because I love you guys and I always have messages to share. But it's really great to have this incentive, to earn some money from the time and the insight. Yes. So another part of the pro tip, guys, is that when you understand this, okay, when you understand that relationships are temporary, first of all, you get to enjoy them, okay? You cherish them. You live real time. Some of you guys, there's an age-old adage, you don't miss a good thing till it's gone. I really think that's such a stupid thing to believe and to patronize. You should appreciate good things when you have them. If you understand that relationships are temporary, if you understand that if you don't maintain relationships, you're not going to be able to enjoy them, i.e. like romantic relationships, business partnerships, trust, relationships with your siblings, relationships with your friends, all of them require that you continually maintain those relationships. If not, they can end prematurely due to neglect. All right. So once you know that relationships are temporary, you can cherish them. Number 2, you will not be devastated when those things come to an end because you knew all along that was the reality of these things. Okay. You knew that, okay, my grandparents are not going to live forever. You can enjoy them. You can take their knowledge and, spend quality time with them. But when they die, obviously you're going to miss them, but it's not going to be the end of your life because it's the circle of life and it's a part of it. Okay. When friends go, by the way, shout out to all you guys in the chat room. If you guys have ever had like a friendship abruptly come to an end, a best friend kind of flip the script, change on you, stop talking to you, let me see your number 1 first trivia question. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. You guys see this super chat because we are now monetized, and Black Messiah sent that first super chat. So you guys can do the needful. My channel has not been monetized for 6 months. Yes. So some of you did take initiative and send PayPals and send Zelle over the months. So much love to you guys. But yes, you now have the ability to send super chats yet again. Friendships that abruptly come to end. So far in my life, I've had 2. Both of the friendships were over 20 years deep. I'm talking about people that I went from childhood to adulthood, people that were at my wedding, people that knew my parents, people that knew some of my deepest, darkest secrets and all of that. One day, here today, gone tomorrow. We still live. We still survive. Big shout outs to the family. Quincy, thank you so much for that super chat. I see you guys sending love, sending tangible support. Queenie knows what I'm talking about. Queenie has had a relationship, a friendship just suddenly change. For those of us that are world travelers, for those of us that are moving, abroad, this is very common because our friends and family feel intimidated by our decision to explore the world, live, unconventional lives, try new things. It's a threat. It makes other people uncomfortable. If you are planning to do this, be ready for it because it's almost a guarantee that when you decide I'm going to move to Africa, I'm about to start internationally traveling. I'm getting ready to do my plan B. I'm getting ready to start my business. I'm getting ready to not have all my eggs in this American basket, in this Canadian basket, in this British basket. People are going to take offense to that. people that are close to you, people that you love. But guys, if you see the title of this video and you know what I'm saying is true, it will not break you. You may be sad, you may be disappointed, but I challenge you to change your perspective to appreciate what those relationships were when they were on the good times. You know, in regards to my two very close friends that suddenly ended their relationships with me, you know, one just stopped talking to me altogether. To this day, I've never heard from them. They didn't reply texts, no emails. They just went radio silent. The other one sent me a text message and, you know, kind of expressed her that she was, you know, essentially breaking up with me. And when I think about them, because obviously when you're friends with someone for like 20 years, you know, they're such a part of your life. You think about them, things remind you of them, songs remind you of them, you see things, you want to call them, you want to communicate it. I've changed the perspective into, man, it's unfortunate we're no longer friends, to, man, we have great times. We had great times. We have great memories. I'm grateful that those people gave me that much of their time, you know, that much of their life. And that's a perspective that you got to have as a winner. I don't look in the past and lament. It's a wasted thing to do that. You know, wasted. Even if you made mistakes, even if you did botch relationships, even if you were the reason why they prematurely came to an end because you were wilding out, living willy-nilly, treating people bad, acting up, it's still an experience where you can take away from that and say, you know, damn, I really messed that up. I did this and that. It was inappropriate, you know, this and that, and learn and then take it in stride. You know, so to answer that person, do I miss, you know, lovers of yesteryear? I would say probably 2 out of the 3. Sometimes, I mean, obviously, I work professionally with Joseph Mayer. Joseph Mayer is my official photographer. We're very amicable. Fifi, I'm not so much in contact with him because he's, you know, he has a wife and kid now. So, you know, out of respect, I'm not involved with him like that. Now my ex-husband, I don't miss him at all or think about him or anything like that. But at the same time, I just have come to the conclusion that it just wasn't meant to be, you know? And so therefore I don't spend a lot of energy invested in those things. And I would really encourage you guys not to either. Everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen. People are coming along your path for seasons. They may not supposed to be the duration. You know, there are some people that can be with you for the duration though, which are some of your family members, like your siblings. You know, now I have my siblings, my little sister, she's been with me her whole entire life. And she's been rocking with me her whole entire life. You know, and our relationship gets better and better and better over the years. I'm fortunate, you know, for that. And I love it. And I tell her all the time, I cherish her and I do things to indicate that. And I, you know, all those things. But, you know, you got to know this fact, guys. You got to know this fact. Big Shots MD2V4 says, people nowadays don't know how to work out problems. They simply just quit relationships. And you know, and that's a good point too. But this is why you got to know that relationships are temporary. I think now in this day and age, more than ever, you know, maybe you guys grew up, you know, watching your parents have longtime childhood friends or your grandparents having childhood friends. You know, I remember like my grandparents had couples they went on vacations with. They did that for decades, you know, and these kind of things that essentially were monikers of community. In our day and age, unfortunately, we don't get to enjoy a lot of those things because of this statement here, which is, and I think that kind of stems from the perspective that everything is replaceable. That's a huge concept. It's a false concept, but that's a huge concept that's being marketed to this generation. You can always replace, you can always upgrade. There's no reason to stick things out. There's no reason to repair things. There's no reason to, invest. You just, somebody acts up, kick them to the curb. You don't like this and that, let them go. You got a boyfriend or girlfriend, you can get a new one. You got a husband or wife, you can get a new one. Just throw them away. Sometimes things need to be thrown away if they're toxic, if they're dysfunctional, if you've made efforts, if it's just not feasible, if it's just too, vastly opposite ends of the earth. But there are times that you need to just, okay, I need to just put a little attention to some of these things. I would say if you're like a perpetual something, something, something. So let's say the last 3 relationships you have, all 3 of them complain about this. Like, let's say you have bad breath. Okay. I would hope none of my channel. But I don't know. I got over 5,000 subscribers, guys. So some of you guys, this would apply. Some of you probably have bad breath or body odor, or you're fat, you don't exercise, or, you're just like, woe is me, mental illness, you have issues, and sometimes it needs your attention. If the last 3 people you dated told you have bad breath, okay, or they never wanted to kiss you, or every time you get with them, they're offering gum, or, stuff like that, then that's not an issue that's them. That's an issue that's you. Or let's say you are always late. I have a family member who's always late, like 2 hours is irritating. Now in Ghana, obviously we have Ghana time, but in the West, that lateness stuff is irritating. Okay. You come 2 or 3 hours to an event, and here in America, the event's going to be over. Okay. It's not like Ghana or African events. So you're always late. People get sick of it. People get, it gets to the point they're not going to invite you places. They're not going to invite you in special places because you might embarrass them, or maybe you have a potty mouth. You're constantly swearing, saying inappropriate things, these kind of things. It's not the other person, it's you. And you need to actually look at that and evaluate and see what's going on, because self-improvement is a beautiful thing. You may need that if you're having repetitive issues in your relationships. But if you look at the relationships and you're like, okay, I can't see where I went wrong, or where I went wrong was me being progressive. So I got the promotion and then my friends start acting up. I got married and then my friends started acting up. I moved to Africa and then my friends started acting up. Should you hinder progress? Should you hinder that because it's going to make other people around you uncomfortable? No. You may just come to the conclusion, you know what? This relationship has run its course now. And realistically, I had this conversation with a good friend of mine just this past weekend because he came to visit me from Washington, D.C. here in Ohio. And we were having a conversation that, sometimes when you start experiencing a lot of things and you start branching out, you start, exposing yourself or teaching yourself new skills. Unfortunately, some of the people that you were associated with before you started making these changes, you kind of outgrow them a bit, and oftentimes it wouldn't even be you that has an issue. You're thinking in your mind, nothing has changed. We're still cool. We're still friends. In their mind, it's like, who is this person? This person has changed up on me. This person is brand new. And they may be frustrated by your growth because it puts a spotlight on them, showing that, man, this person is doing this and this. Look at my life. I'm not doing anything. Black Messiah is traveling the world. I haven't even been, to Myrtle Beach. S.A. Smith, just started a business and now, her business is growing. And yet here I am still working 9 to 5 and dealing with the white man, and then it's like they're complaining about circumstances, but you are implementing change, and that makes people also uncomfortable because it's like, you are showing them up. Essentially, you're showing them up, and that's why a lot of our people just turn a deaf ear to problems, because they don't want that call to action. Okay, when someone in America complains about racism, systematic racism that's been in effect for 400 plus, 500 plus, we don't even know how long. And you say, well, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Or this is what I'm going to do to alleviate that particular issue in my life. That is a call to action. That means that the other person sitting there complaining to you, if they really, really, really wanted change, would have to take action. And that's what they don't like. They don't like you basically confronting them with the fact that you got to take some action if you want changes in your life. Big shout outs to the African Superstar family, man. And special shout outs to my super chat donor showing love on the channel. The channel is monetized after 6 long months. Yes. And I really, really want to just say thank you to the family showing that tangible support. Big shout outs. We got 18 of you in here. Please make sure you like the stream. This is an unpopular opinion because I think people put a lot of emphasis and focus on these relationships they have with people. And then what I'm seeing here in America is when those relationships come to an end, all hell breaks loose. It's like, okay, I got fired from my job. I got a divorce. Somebody broke up with me. Somebody doesn't like me. And it's getting escalated. People are losing their lives simply because of the fact that of this irrefutable truth, which is all relationships are temporary. Nobody, you don't own anybody. Okay, you don't own anybody, guys. You don't own anybody. If that person wants to be in your company, wants to be a friend, wants to be a lover, that's their prerogative. But they also have the option of going away from you. They do. When you were born, you came into this world by yourself. All right. And that's how you're going to, go out, is by yourself. The only people who have a level of obligation to you is your parents, really, because as a child, you are very helpless and vulnerable. They have to have that responsibility. They made you. They need to take care of you until the point that you can take care of yourself. Anybody else, it's optional if they want to deal with you. Okay? Anybody else, it's optional. And that's why I'm saying this is a topic that people need to understand. Okay? It's not compulsory that you have your friend, you have lifetime friends, that your spouse stays with you forever, whatever. No. They can go if they gotta go, if they feel they gotta go, or whatever, or they die. What are you gonna do? Your life can't stop. Okay, your life gotta still be going on because you still are having life. Their path has ended, or maybe their chapter with you has ended, but that's not the end of it. Big shout out to the family. Okay, S.A. Smith says, I do not socialize a lot and like to spend time to myself, and that is hard for some people to deal with. I have a best friend who understands that, and we have been friends for over 20 years. Big shout outs. I give a lot of energy when I'm with people, but then I need to withdraw to recuperate. Big shout outs to you. I understand. MD2V4 says, I tend to think of it as different people tend to come in your life at each stage, even when you don't want it. I agree. Some of us, some diasporians, for instance, or some, dare I say, TV evangelists, initially when we get on this path of enlightenment and awakening and stuff, it's normal that you want to share that with everybody around you. You're buzzing, you feel empowered, you're learning new things, and you're like, oh my God. Or the first time you go to Africa, you just want to tell everybody, you just want to, all your peers, you want them to know that what they think they know about Africa is not true. Okay. And trying to convince the people that are kind of where you are or where you used to be, it's difficult. I found that some of the people that I'm the closest with now, currently, are those who are in the location that I want to be. So in other words, I've met some of the most extraordinary women. Some of my girlfriends currently my girl Anita, you know what I'm saying? My girl Monica, my girl sister Ya. I met all of them in Africa or on the process of going to Africa. You know, the baseline of commonality is there because they can relate, because they have the knowledge and they have traveled there and they are living there or whatever. So instead of trying to bring people with you sometimes, you just got to journey on to the destination. And when you get to the destination, you're going to be able to fraternize with other like-minded people that have also made the journey, that have also reached the destination. And those relationships are so very valuable to me. All those people that I mentioned and so many others that I have met, Stacy something for the holidays, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people I met, so many great people in Ghana, like my neighbor Maud, EB, people that's down, and I think to myself, man, had I been hindered by the fact that nobody really particularly wanted to do the journey with me, I would still just be there, maybe trying to solicit support from the people around me when there was support in the destination. So I really agree with this, each stage, different stages. What you need will be provided for you. Big shout outs, family. Yes. So today, that's what I wanted to say. That's what I was busy thinking about when someone asked me that question. I'm just like, look, it wasn't meant to be. If it was meant to be, it would be. I have people that, like for instance, my girlfriend, Nicola. My girlfriend, Nicola, she's my birthday twin. Both of us are the 26th of June. Nicola's been living in different cities for the past, 10 years. She lived in California. She lived in DC. She lived in Chicago and currently in Virginia. And we don't get to see each other that often physically, but we talk on the phone every few days. And, that's a testament to maintaining relationships, even though you may not physically be with the person or whatever. So I say this to say that when things come to an end, that a lot of times is the end of that thing. Okay, it's the end of that chapter. And some of you guys have, you do the makeup to break up and all of that. I think that once a relationship has concluded, that's probably the best thing, because one or both parties are no longer vested in that. And so you got to let it go. You got to let it go. And so that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Hello. Shameless plug. Have you downloaded my latest track, Sunday Born? We currently have a dance challenge going on. So if you guys know dancers or anything like that, make sure you let them know so that they can get on this dance challenge a chance at $150 cash prize for the video with the most views at the end of May. And also we have an upcoming tour. Mr. Taya Uhuru and I, we're teaming up again for the Welcome to Ghana Part 2. It is in October. You can still get information at the website. You can book. And let's see here. Big shout outs. What's up? You can get all the booking and the full itinerary here at tayaehuru.com. So I do hope to see some of you guys. Some of you guys, have been expressing interest and perhaps we're not able to do the one in March. Don't miss the one in October. Hello. You know what it is. You got to see a little bit of what is available. You get your traditional photo shoot. You get your complimentary kente. You get to visit several cities. You get full accommodation, airfare. You get a Welcome to Ghana concert from me. Hello. So make sure if you're interested in a tour, you book your spot today so we can start preparing for you, okay? So big shout out to the African Superstar family. If you're watching a playback, make sure you leave your comments in the box below of what you think about this topic or whatever you want to pass on along with it. And thank you again to those of you that have supported via Super Chat on our, we're remonetized. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.